and I'm so super excited. I've got a special guest. I've got a special guest with me today. But so you're going to have to just like hold up. I know you guys are excited. Just hold up. When you get here, I want you to say hello. Let me know that you were here with me live. And if you are catching this on the replay, drop a little hashtag replay in the comments for me so I can thank you for stopping by. Today's special guest is a friend of mine. Hold on one second. I'm going to do a little tech check. I want to make sure my audio is good. We all know that there's been issues with audio. Hang on just a second. Let me make sure. Oh, and we're okay. We can hear me. This is good. So listen, I'm really, really excited and honored to be able to introduce you guys to a friend of mine. And before I get into a proper introduction for her, I want to just tell you guys, every Monday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, you find me here live. I'm an entrepreneur through and through. I've been building in the online space since 2018. And I love talking strategy and, different tips and techniques and tricks to build and grow your business online. And I love working with entrepreneurs. It's just like my love language, which is what got me connected to Dr. Sam. But anyway, every third Monday, I'm bringing back the Entrepreneur Spotlight. Used to do it a long time ago. I'm bringing it back now. So just know that when you get here, that you will get to hear all kinds of, again, strategies, ways to build online, mindset stuff. You guys know I love Jesus, and I love highlighting my friends in the entrepreneurial space. So anyway, let's just get right into this. I am excited to bring to you my friend, Dr. Samantha Evans. She is a naturopathic doctor who spent over a decade working with people living with Parkinson's disease. And now she's on a mission to help women prevent it before it starts. So grab your coffee. Again, do say hello when you get here. Let us know that you're with us here live. And you might want to grab a notebook because sister knows a few things about a few things. Dr. Sam.
Hello.
Good morning.
Hello. Good morning.
How are we doing, my friend?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well in Southern California. That's not so sunny this morning.
What? We've stolen your sunshine here in North Dakota. The sun is shining. The birds are chirping. It's a glorious day.
Thanks for that.
Yeah. Sorry. For once in my life, I can say the sun is shining here in North Dakota. In California, it's not so great. But listen, I cannot wait for my friends to get to meet you. And before I actually get this party started, I really want to ask my audience, have you known anybody that has suffered from Parkinson's disease? Have you known of anyone? Maybe it's in your family. Like this, Dr. Sam, again, I've got to know her through the entrepreneurial channels, which we'll get into that story, Sam. I'm excited for you to share with everybody kind of, maybe why you didn't choose the traditional route, right? But I'm curious for those of you watching this, if you've known anybody with Parkinson's, and let us know in the comments. Sam, you've brought it to my attention. The ability, I guess, on the prevention side of things. You've enlightened me so much, is what I'm going to say, around the disease itself, and it's such a passion of yours. And I guess I'm just gonna first ask my first question and get right into it. Tell me this. What part of your journey here inspired you to really kind of dedicate your life and your practice to the Parkinson's prevention, and specifically talking about women's brain health as well? So if you want to kind of just let's dive right into that.
Yeah. So I really like working with the brain in general. When I was, so just diving right in, just because I'm going to go there, I got diagnosed with epilepsy when I was 11. So I've been interested in working with the brain pretty much my whole life. I've always known I wanted to be a doctor. And then when I went to school, I actually was on trajectory to become an MD. And then something happened in my life where no one could figure out what's going on. And then I was like, who are these naturopathic doctors? What are these people? And I was dealing with something for like 4 months, and literally no one could figure it out. They did all the labs, they did everything, and no one could figure it out. I went to a naturopath and super skeptical. They figured it out in 5 minutes, and I was done. I was like, I'm better. And I was like, and then they're like, okay, we have another 45 minutes. What do you want to talk about? I'm like, this is the doctor that I want to be. So then, yeah, it was an amazing experience. They're like, okay, what else is going on? I'm like, I'm kind of tired. They're like, okay, well, let's do something about that. And then like, let's talk diet. I'm like, this is the type of doctor I want to be. So And then went into school, and I started just as for money, I went into helping with research in Parkinson's disease, and then went into a support group to help a researcher who does research in Parkinson's disease in the alternative medicine world. And if you've ever met someone with Parkinson's disease, they're the nicest people. I don't know what it is, but they're just the nicest people in the world. And I can say that to date, every person I've worked with that has Parkinson's is just like go-getters. And I just love working with them. So, and even when I was in school, that's what made me continue to want to work with them.
And so for people, I'm curious, for those people that might not know too what Parkinson's is, can you kind of give just a little rundown on just the disease itself and when typically you see people start the symptoms of Parkinson's? Because I know prevention is a huge part of this for you, and I want to talk about that. But like, can you share a little bit about that?
So classically, what we think about Parkinson's versus what it actually is are very different. What we think Parkinson's is in the stereotypical world is like someone with a tremor.
Yeah.
And that's actually like 40% of people never have a tremor. So yeah,
I did not know that. Because I thought exactly what you just said. Okay, keep talking.
Yeah. So like 40% of people don't ever develop a tremor. So I've had patients come to say, like, my neurologist said I don't have Parkinson's because I don't have a tremor. I'm like, well, that's false. Yeah. Like, that's just false. We see like slowness in movements. If you don't have an arm swing, that's one of a really one-sided. Some people notice like, I'm just not walking as much as quickly as I was before. And I have like lead feet. I'm not catching up to my partner when we're walking, or literally my arm just stops swinging. Or we'll see like all of a sudden people can't read your expressions very well. You got like a poker face.
Yeah.
Or like, again, a one-sided tremor. But what's interesting is that those are motor symptoms. Then there's the non-motor symptoms, which actually can start 20 years before you ever develop motor symptoms.
20 years. Wow.
Which is crazy, like 10 to 20 years before you ever get diagnosed. Yeah.
Wow.
So those are things like constipation, loss of smell, and like acting out your dreams. So like talking or acting out your dreams.
Interesting. Okay. And so thank you for sharing that. Boy, learned something new today. So tell me on the prevention side of it, where I know this is just a huge passion of yours. What's one shocking thing about Parkinson's risk that most women don't know?
Hormones actually are very protective for you. When estrogen, so men are more likely to get Parkinson's disease than women. But once you hit menopause, it almost equals out. Men are still more likely to get it, but this estrogen has this protective piece for you. We know we have so much research in Alzheimer's saying, yes, estrogen is really helpful in preventing Alzheimer's disease, but we're seeing that in Parkinson's disease too. So but the research isn't as much there as it is in Alzheimer's. That being said, I'm on this like hormones. My patients that I see, I'm like, are you on hormones? Are you on hormones? And as a naturopath, being like, take hormones, make sure hormones, like it is like a huge passion of mine. And it has become more of a passion.
Yeah.
Because, and I've told you this, Mindy, but I was 36 and my seizures were when we figured out my seizures were hormone triggered. And it took that long to figure out, and a child to figure out my seizures were hormone triggered. And they decided, they're like, well, why don't we just put you into menopause? And that will fix it. And I was like,
Yeah. I remember the story. Tell them. Yeah. Keep going.
I'm like, with no other conversation.
Yeah.
It was like, we could just give you a hysterectomy. And I was like, I have the knowledge that like that does increase risk of Alzheimer's, of Parkinson's. It not only increases risk of also cardiovascular disease by putting you into early menopause, it also increases risk of osteoporosis. I have that knowledge base because I went to medical school. Imagine if I didn't, and I have epilepsy, and my doctor's saying, why don't I just put you into menopause? I'm like, yes, absolutely. This is going to control my seizures. I said, no, what? Give me something else.
Yeah.
And so I got the something else, and I got put on hormones, like steady hormones, and we figured that out. But they're like, oh, why don't we just take it? That means you don't get periods anymore. Who doesn't want that? I'm like, but there was no other conversation that was had about the risks that come with a total hysterectomy, which a total hysterectomy means they take your ovaries too.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, this is a problem. And so when that happened, I was like, I'm mad. And so that's when my practice shifted a little bit from I was more focused on the gut, and my practice shifted a lot to more hormones and really wanting to have more of a conversation and actually learning more about hormones, because at that point I had a little bit of knowledge, but I didn't have the knowledge that I have now. And I didn't deep dive into the research that I have been in the past 3 years, that the research that's out there, because it's there. We're just not talking about it as much.
Yeah. And I'm glad that you brought that part up too. And I see you guys have some questions and sharing some things. I appreciate it. We'll touch on this in a minute, but I want to just say many of you guys know too, because I keep everybody posted, Dr. Sam, in my stories, like with what's happening with my life, everything from Benny to the fact that I'm starting to take progesterone now. Anyway.
I love progesterone.
Yeah.
Take progesterone.
Yeah. So, but to your point, and I think, as I was reading to that book that I had shared with you, normal isn't optimal, and seeing all of those clinical studies, which I've read none of them, but like, there's like, 5 pages of clinical trials, clinical studies, all this kind of stuff around not just any old hormones, but, and tell me if I'm saying all the words right, but it's compounded bioidentical hormones, BHRT, I think. Is that the acronym? Anyway.
Yeah.
And I love, and Tracy's saying too, Tracy Ann was saying that she started HRT about 3 months ago, feeling so much better, and progesterone's the only way that she sleeps. So all that said, so that really kind of shifted, like you said, to your point, that shifted some things in your practice and the way you were doing things, understanding that. And again, I've been a woman my whole life here. I didn't realize that, like, when you get to menopause, things just go to shit.
Yeah. And there's this study and there's this study that came out in I think it was 2001, that basically there's this whole generation of women that I'm working with right now who have Parkinson's disease that basically got the shaft. That study that was like, hormones, if you take them, they cause cancer. And I'm like, no, because there's basically like this 10-year window of prevention and protectiveness with like bone density, cardiovascular prevention, protectiveness, and brain health protectiveness. 10 years once you hit menopause, and there's this 10-year protective window. And after that, we don't have a lot of data, but we also know that there's a little bit more risk after that. So I'm working with women like on this tail end, and I'm like, oh, this damn study, I hate you so much. So I'm like, let me get to all these other women. And there's this interesting, there's pieces to the compoundedness, like compounded hormones, but you don't necessarily need it compounded. Like micronized progesterone sits on the progesterone receptors in your body, and it doesn't have to be compounded. It's a prescription at the pharmacy. Right. And the estrogen patch is honestly phenomenal, because you don't have to worry about the clotting issues with the patch, where there's like the concern with everyone's worried about clots with taking estrogen. A patch, you don't have to necessarily worry about that, because it doesn't go through the liver. So like, people spend so much money on compounded things, and there are reasons to get it compounded if you have like allergies and whatnot. But if you can get it covered by insurance and it works well, I'm a big fan.
So let's dig into this too. And I know
Sorry.
the girls are commenting. No. Don't be sorry. Again, and I almost thought too, like this could be 2 separate episodes. We could be talking Parkinson's all day long and prevention of that. But the truth of the matter is the two correlate so well. I mean, the one is the correlation of the other. So I want to talk too about as you're working with patients, and you guys, I'm just going to tell you this. I'll link Dr. Sam's Instagram to this broadcast as well on YouTube and on Facebook. So I want you guys to follow her there. The reels and the content that she's putting out is just so good. But also she does have a practice down in Southern California, but you also are seeing people via online too, right? Like
I'm actually a completely virtual practice.
Okay. Aren't you? I thought you were still seeing patients in person. No?
I'm seeing patients in person in Seattle like 3 times a year, but I'm a completely virtual practice.
Well, then you're all in luck. So I want you to talk to these guys when it comes to and whatever direction you want to take this, whether it be, again, Parkinson's prevention related or just as women in general, as we enter into perimenopause and all the things, like when it comes to lab work. I think so many women, here's what I've understood as I've kind of gone through this journey as well. You go into your doctor, you're like, I feel fatigued. I feel like I hit a wall. I have brain fog. Your libido is non-existent, all these things. And it's kind of like, this is the normal part of going through the stages of life. No.
My face is facing.
Yeah. I know. You don't have to say anything. I can read it on your face. So talk about that, Dr. Sam. Like, let's have a little open conversation about this.
Yeah. There's so much controversy around doing labs, even in the alternative medicine world, in the conventional world, and you talk to 2 doctors, you'll get 15 opinions, right? Yeah. Like even within myself, I'm like, do I order labs? Do I not order labs? Like, I'm not sure. Like, and it's really honestly individualized. There are some times that I want to order like this fancy, it's a Dutch test. It's like a urine test that there's like, sometimes I think it might be relevant, but then for the most part, it doesn't really give me, anytime you order a test in my brain, ask the question, will it change the treatment that my doctor is giving me?
Oh, say that one more time. So as you're a patient and you're going in and they're wanting to order labs, the question to the doctor is, will say that again.
So will this change the treatment? Especially if you're paying out of pocket for stuff, right? And that's a question I'm always asking myself too. Like, is this changing my treatment? And if it's not changing my treatment and it's just data, sometimes that's helpful, right? Sometimes it's like, okay, this is good information for me to have. For some people, they really want proof in the pudding. Like, am I actually in menopause?
Yeah.
Some people have had a hysterectomy and we have no idea, even if it's partial, meaning they just had their uterus out, but they still have their ovaries and we have no idea where they're at. So we would order something like an FSH and we can see where you're at from a menopause standpoint. And we can we'll know this for sure if you've gone through menopause or you're menopausal, you're postmenopause. But is that going to change my treatment? It's good information to have, but I won't know when you hit menopause. So there is that piece. From a testing, progesterone, estrogen, testosterone, estrogen and progesterone. Well, just to be specific, we check normally estradiol levels, or I would check estradiol levels just to be particular, and progesterone levels. The main reason I would do it is to see, I would do it before I test, before we start hormones, and then after you start it, to see where, if you're absorbing them, like let's say you're doing the estradiol patch, are you actually getting any? Most of the time you are. Some people, I actually have a friend who takes oral estrogen. It doesn't work. She doesn't get any of it. Like her,
interesting.
None. Her levels don't go up. So she actually has to use the patch.
Okay.
So, but if we but we have to check. I did a baseline. Oh, I didn't. Her doctors did baseline, and then they do follow-up labs. So I like to do that. The standard progesterone, for if you're going to do micronized progesterone, the dosing for that is generally the same. So, but it's nice to see where you fall lab-wise. But again, this is my preference.
Yeah.
Right? Testosterone, I like to test it to see like where you're at. That one is kind of regardless. Like I don't actually care when we test it, but if you're on testosterone, I want to make sure you're not above the reference range.
Yeah.
I personally, because do you really need to be above the reference range? Not really.
Hopefully not.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but at the same time, I also want you to get some benefit.
Right.
But if you're having things like low libido, checking testosterone can be really, really helpful.
So okay,
or
so
difficulty gaining muscle.
Yeah, and I know Tracy Amos was saying too, she's finally started to get some muscle back also, which again, as we age, and to the point of somebody who's talking about osteoporosis here. Oh yeah, Tracy Amos was talking about that as well. I mean, putting on that healthy lean muscle, keeping and maintaining that healthy lean muscle is so incredibly important to protect your bones, right, as we age. And so I'm going all over the place in my head with where I want to go with this right now. But so the point is okay, let me back up, and then I also want to talk to you about kind of the environmental. You and I have had some great conversations. As I was saying, like I live right behind there. I've got a beautiful cornfield right behind my house, which probably gets sprayed a lot with a lot of things. But anyway, so tell me this. Okay, back to the labs real quick. I'm just curious, based on your professional guidance, and again, what should we say as the disclaimer? We're not treating, curing, preventing, blah, 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 whatever the disclaimer should be on this. But I'm curious your thoughts, Dr. Sam, when it comes to women feeling, again, you've got, again, low libido, brain fog, you feel like you hit a wall, like the energy sucks, you're in your maybe later 30s, maybe early 40s, or in your 40s, 50s. Likely there might be a hormone problem here. Like, when do you recommend somebody go in, get the lab work done? And again, what to look for? Tell me this too. Sorry, I'm throwing a lot at you, but like, again, you go to your regular primary doctor, the likeliness that they're going to, like the medical, is it called Western medicine, right? Like that they're going to really go deep into this hormone path. Is it not very common that they do? So they might not. It's just part of aging, right? Is that common? You hear those things?
I hear it way too much, but so there's two places that I tell people to go in that situation. One, you can start hormones, period, end of sentence. There are some, just so you know, there are contraindications. Like this is why you have to have an intake with a doctor. Like there are definitely contraindications, like to taking estrogen, for example. Like if you have a history of breast cancer, you can't use an estrogen patch or take oral estrogen. You can use vaginal estrogen, but you can't do the other ones. That's a whole other question, ballgame. But so you do have to have a conversation with a provider. That being said, if you're in that age range, if you were a dude and went into your doctor, they'd be like, let me check your testosterone. I'll give you testosterone. No questions asked. If you are a female, I think it's worth checking your labs to see where they're at, knowing that when you're going through perimenopause, when you're in perimenopause, the unfortunate part, this is just so you know, if they check your labs and they are all normal, you could be, it would be nice if in perimenopause, your hormones just steadily did this. They don't. No. They do this.
Yeah.
So, which is why you feel like a crazy person.
Yeah.
So you could be catching your hormones at a time where they look normal. Does that mean you won't benefit from hormones? No. So this is where the hormones give you that steadiness. So that's why there's controversy in testing. So should you test? I think it's not necessarily a bad idea. But again, that goes back to, I do like to do it for some people to make sure you're actually getting some hormones, and we're not passing the therapeutic range for the hormones once you're on them. So that's long-winded answer, but
no, that's good.
And there are some resources out there for you that for docs who actually know what they're doing in this. There's MIDI Health. Like, obviously I'm a resource, but I also can't treat in every state either, which makes access. So I'm always like, hey, go to your doctor and do this. Hey, go to your doctor and ask for this. MIDI Health is phenomenal. And then if you go to the Menopause Society website, they will tell you if there is a provider by you who actually knows how to treat menopause.
Oh, that's good. That's some good resources. And we'll drop that in the comments too, you guys. I'll drop those links to the resources in the comments. But so I'm okay. Let's touch on environmental. And then I want to kind of get into, if there's one thing, actually, let me ask this first. If there's one thing that we as women could do, just even this week, to have better brain health, because again, I know so much of, obviously in the prevention, your heart with preventing Parkinson's, your heart for helping us women with our hormone issues and so forth, it surrounds the brain and gut brain access, the whole 9 yards. But what would you say would be really one thing that we could change, or one little habit we could implement to kind of help get ahead on that? Exercise. Okay. And are we talking like massive HIIT workouts, or are we talking just some good getting our cardiovascular walking, or some strength training, or a little bit of all?
Yeah, I think this is where we can do harm, in that if you look up all the fitness people online, they're going to be like, you have to do this, or you have to do this. And it's not a one size fits all exercise routine. If I were to say, you know what, I want to run a marathon and I've never went on a walk, but I'm just going to go run a marathon, I'm going to injure myself.
Yeah.
Right. And so then I'm going to be on the couch and not even go exercise. I'm a fan of go for a walk, start there.
Yeah.
And if nothing else, you go for a walk, period. Every single day you walk. Start there. Once you do that, then we can work our way up.
Yeah.
Right. Work our way up to doing like more like weighted things. But from a bone density standpoint, you need some weights.
Right.
But just walk.
Right.
I don't know if you can still hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you. Did your buds die? Yeah.
One of them did. But that is my biggest thing, is getting the steps in, getting your steps in.
Yeah.
And again, but there are definitely people who are like, no, women have to have muscle. They have to. Yeah. If you're already in that state where you can do that. Right. Exactly. The best exercise is the one that you would do.
Yes. Good word, Marcy.
Exactly. Some of my favorite physical therapists they were like, I don't care what you're doing, because if you don't enjoy doing it, you're never going to do it.
Right.
I'm like, and the thing with women that I absolutely love is women do really well when they do stuff together. Like, I will go on a 10 times longer walk around my neighborhood when my girlfriend is with me and we have a coffee in our hand.
That's what me and Stacy, we lift pretty much every day. Why? Because we are like best friends and we're drinking coffee while we're working out and talking. And it's true. And the reason why I show up at her house to like get my butt kicked is because pretty much of the coffee. And also of the benefits too. Listen, I love building lean muscle. I love getting healthier the older I get. And it feels really good to get those endorphins cranking, and knowing that more lean muscle on my body is just better for my body. You know what I mean? So good. So good. So I encourage you guys with this conversation, and we're going to wrap it up here in a minute. I just encourage you guys today to, number one, follow Dr. Sam, which I'll link her Instagram here. Follow Dr. Sam on Instagram. So much good information. And I love you're bold in who you are and who you serve. And I love that so much about you. But also get your butts moving, get your labs done. If you've not had your labs done, which actually I want to talk about that for a minute too. Get your labs done, ladies, and understand where you're at. And that the truth of the matter is, like the book that I'm reading, normal isn't always optimal. And that's very true. Just because your labs are in a normal range doesn't mean that you're in an optimal state. But Sam, tell me this. Gosh dang it. I want to touch on the environmental piece and how that impacts things. Let's just touch on that real quick.
Environment is huge.
Yeah.
Huge right now. There's a book that was just put out by Michael Oken and Ray Dorsey called The Parkinson's Plan. Basically, the thought that Parkinson's is caused by basically a man-made disease because of the environmental exposures. We know that dry cleaning, there's some chemical use in dry cleaning that increases risk of Parkinson's disease. There's pesticides increasing risk of Parkinson's disease. Mm-hmm. If you live within a mile of a golf course, your risk for Parkinson's disease goes up over 100%.
Yeah, wait, touch on that. Okay, yeah. So because golf courses, is it chemicals that they might use on the courses, or what's the correlation there?
Yeah, we think it's the chemicals, the pesticides and herbicides used on the golf courses. But then, and that leaching into the water, but it's also in the air.
Oh, sure. Mm-hmm.
Right. And so, like, guess who lives within a mile of a golf course?
Yeah. So guess whose mom lives on a golf course.
So I have like a water filtration system in my house. I have air purifiers in every single room, the HEPA filters in the room. And you can go online. Our water is weirdly disgusting. Like, the amount of times I hear from people that are like, oh, we were fine. We drank out of a hose when we were younger. I'm like, yeah, but the crap that we used when we were younger is not what we use now.
Right.
It's horrible now. So filtering our water is actually important. Mm-hmm. And you can go to the EWG's website, ewg.org/tapwater, and you can see what's in your tap water. And if you're on a well, you need to test your well. Your well, if it's high in manganese, there's something called manganism with Parkinson's. So like manganese is an essential element our body needs, but too much is problematic in Parkinson's disease. And there's a lot of wells that are really high in manganese. So getting your well tested, also for like bugs and stuff, you really want to make sure you're getting your well tested frequently.
Yeah, that's good. And so we'll drop the link to that below as well. Copper, Tracy Ann says copper and well water as well. Hey, I do want to get to a couple questions though. And I want to back up to Karen. My friend Karen asked, is Parkinson's hereditary? Is there that correlation? It is hereditary? Yes.
Well, yes and no. There is some genetic links, but it's surprisingly not as genetic as you'd think. Of the lots of patients I have, very few have a family inheritance. Like, it's not as genetically linked as you think.
Okay. And then Marcy was saying, how do you feel about carbs?
About what?
In carbs. In what? I'm curious. And maybe, I don't know if there's a correlation. I don't know why she's asking that question exactly. Marcy, if you want to expand on it, but is there some kind of in carbohydrates in menopause?
Yeah,
or carbohydrates
carbs are given a bad reputation, I think. Yeah. So, insulin resistance there's some, and diabetes. There's been some growing research linking it to Parkinson's disease, just like Alzheimer's disease, and it being considered like a type 3 diabetes. But people link carbs and those things, and they're not interchangeable, because starchy vegetables are carbs. Right. But they're still vegetables. They're still helpful for you.
Yeah. So fruit has carbohydrates in it as well.
Fruits have carbs, right? Yeah. So I think we're giving them a bad reputation. It's how we consume them. Are they refined carbs? Have you taken all the nutritional content out of them? And they are no longer nutrient. Like, they give you no nutrient except for the sugars. And so there's this person on Instagram that I love. She basically breaks down the biochemistry of it. The glucose goddess, where the gist of it is you have a fat, a fiber, a protein, all before you have a carb or a starch, and it decreases the glucose spike.
Yeah. Yeah. And Marcy was just saying, understand insulin resistance is one of the causes of Parkinson's.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the links.
Yeah. So, okay, boy, gosh, we could keep going, but I know we're at about 30. Well, we're a little over 30 minutes. Geez.
I thought we had an hour because I could keep talking.
I mean, we could just keep going and going and going.
I know.
No, but this is so good. And again, I just think that, I guess the older that I get, the more that I'm coming to understand and realize that just because we have, these symptoms, and this is a part of the process in a sense, now that they've understood and found that, as our testosterone tanks and our hormones just totally decrease because, again, of so much of the environmental impact of what we're around and all of that we don't have to live this way anymore because there's resources. And so tell them to Dr. Sam, I know you are, on the lab side of things. If people want to connect with you, or I know you've got some access to some incredible lab work, kind of tell them about that and how they can connect with you more on that.
Yeah. So on my Instagram page, I talk a lot about Parkinson's and then women and decreasing risk. And I'm trying to get better about posting as much as I can on there. But within that, you can order your own labs. It's basically a la carte, order your labs. I do have a women's panel in that it's all like laid out. I have a Parkinson's panel that I order on all my patients who have Parkinson's and their family members. So if they have kids, they're like, I don't want to get Parkinson's disease. What do I do? Whether they're male or female. I'm like, just get that. But if you are like worried about hormones, it's basically the Parkinson's panel plus some hormones. It's under the Rupa. It's under my Substack. So you can, and then there's like gut testing, which I didn't even touch on, but it's an a la carte essentially ordering. And then if you wanted to review them, like Mindy said, I have a practice. And then I have like supplements that if you are a supplement orderer, there's some access to really good quality supplements that, again, from an environmental perspective, I actually have a patient who all of a sudden his mercury levels skyrocketed. And we're like, where
mercury
is this
levels
coming from? Mercury. And he's like, I increased my fish oil, and nothing changed except he increased his fish oil, and where he got it from changed. And I was like, it's your fish oil. So there's some things that, like, if you're getting supplements, where you're getting them from actually does matter. And I'm not picky about all supplements, but there are ones that I'm like, just sometimes the cheapest one is not actually great quality because they didn't make sure that, like, turmeric is loaded with lead sometimes because it's where it's sourced. And because it's a root, it can be loaded with lead. Fish oil, it's from tuna. Tuna is high in mercury. So, like, making sure you're getting good quality supplements. That's why I make it accessible to people to get it at, like, I think I have it 15% discount. So, but then labs, you get it at a discounted rate. I think you can get a ton of labs. I think it's at like $200 and something. That normally is like over $1,000. I think even if you were bill insurance and you had a high deductible plan, I think it would be ridiculous. So that's available to you. And the labs, I don't make any money off of. It's like at cost.
This is why, and I love you for this. As Sam and I work together, and I'm kind of part of helping her grow an Instagram and kind of come up with the strategy on really how to get her message out. Because as you guys know, I just, as I've learned more about this, and I'm kind of walking through this as well, and Dr. Sam being such a wealth of research and resources. You had mentioned that the one day, and you're like, I don't make any money off of this, and I don't make any. I'm like, what? Okay. I just love your heart.
Why? I'm like, because I want people to have access, because some people don't. And I'm like, it's not fair.
I know. And I love your heart with that. And so listen, you guys, I want you just to take a minute, go follow her over on Instagram. I dropped her link there. I don't know if it's dropping on Facebook. It might've just dropped on YouTube, but and feel free to, click the link in her bio and connect with her. on, you know, whether it's the lab stuff or, you know, connecting with you via telemed or whatever. It's just, you're just awesome. And it's a rarity for me to find someone like you in this space that, again, you're so well researched and you've got such a heart to want to help people just really feel optimal and well, all the while preventing Parkinson's, which is such a, what a gift you are, my friend. I'm just, yeah, I'm just grateful to know you and have you in my space. Yeah. Yeah. Well, friends. Okay. I think we covered it as much as I kind of wanted to. We could go so much deeper into so many different things. And I just might have to have you back again because I know, I'm so glad, Tracy Ann. Yeah. If you guys like this, drop a little hashtag value in the comments. And because again, I'm going to bring back my entrepreneur spotlight. I'll probably have to have you on again because the gut health and that whole conversation, microbiome and all of that. It's a whole nother ball game. And again, but all interrelated, right? So yeah, we'll do this again sometime, my friend. But thank you for your time today.
Yeah, of course.
All right. Well, love and appreciate you guys. We'll catch you back here another next week, Monday, 11 a.m. Central for another episode of Mondays with Mendo. Until then, take care and have a blessed day. We'll see you guys.